like sunshine on a cloudy day. Hey guys, my name's Kevin and welcome. Today we're going to check out an awesome song by the Temptations called My Girl. So we're going to learn the strumming pattern, the chords, and even a little riff. So get tuned up and let's get started. Hey, before we get started, do me a little favor and click that subscribe and alert button so you're the first to know when our next video is coming your way. We're producing new content every week, and I want you to be the first ones to know. All right, so we're going to start things off here by taking a look at the riff. And when I say the riff, I'm referring to the bump, 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 bump. So we're going to learn how to do that on our ukes. So whenever we pluck individual notes here, I like to use my thumb on my strumming hand, and I like to brace my hand underneath the body of the uke. So let me play the riff for you, and then I'm going to pull it apart and show you how to do it. So it sounds like this. So pretty cool, pretty simple, and it follows the C major scale. So our first note here is an open C note. So in order to play that, we're just going to play the C string. And we just pluck that down. So all of these plucks on the strings will just be down plucks with your thumb. So I'm plucking right over the sound hole as I do this. So I have open C. I'm going to play a D note here, which is the second fret of the C string. Then we play an open E string, the E note here. And then we play the third fret of the E string. So far we have 0, 2, 0, 3, and then we end with open A string with an A note, and then we play a C note, which is the third fret of the A string. So when you put that all together, it sounds like this. So a little nuance here to the riff that I want to explain to you. So when I play this open C note here, to get that to kind of stop so it doesn't just continue to ring, what I do is I actually just go and I touch the string here with my middle finger, and that's going to stop the vibration of the string. So when I play it open, sounds like this, but if I go to stop it, and I just do that by touching the string without pressing it down, it stops the vibration. So when I play the riff, go open, stop the note, and then 2, 0, 3, 0, 3. So let's just play that together, kind of really slow, so you have a chance to work on this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So spend a little time with that, and I will have a tab on the website for you if you want to follow along with that, as well as a song sheet for this entire song, for those of you who want to check that out. So that is the intro section. It's just a riff. Now let's jump into the verse. We only need 2 chords for the verse, and those chords are C major, which is our ring finger on the A string of the 3rd fret. Sounds like this. And then we have an F major chord, which is middle finger on the G string 2nd fret and index on the 1st fret of the E string, and that looks like this. So we only use those 2 chords for this first verse section. The strumming pattern that we will use is the island strum. So just holding a C chord here, I'll demonstrate the island strum for you, and then we'll kind of break it down. So the island strum sounds like this. It's down, down, up, up, down, up. So the way that you would count that is 1, 2, and 4, and. Again, 1, 2, and 4, and. So that strum's going to actually happen in all of the verses for this song as well as the interlude. There'll be a little variance when we get to the chorus, but I'll show you that later. So right now, let's just practice this. We're going to do 1 time with the island strum on the C and 1 time on F. We'll just go back and forth on that a couple of times, nice and slow, so you can get acclimated with this chord transition. A little tip here, when you're playing your C chord, try to make sure you're hovering your F chord over the strings. You don't want to have your hand down here below the fretboard. You want your fingers above the strings so that when you go to F, you've shortened that distance between your fingers and the strings. That's really going to help you to get back and forth between these chords. And you can do the same thing when you're playing F. Have your ring finger kind of set up here to go back to your C chord. So let's try this. I'll give us a 4 count in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, F. One more time, back to C. All right, let's take a look at the chorus section now. I'm going to play it for you, and then we're going to take it apart. So here we go. It goes like this. I guess you say, what can make me feel this way, my girl? I'm talking about my girl, my girl. All right. There's a couple little nuances here that we need to go through. So we'll start with the chords first. The new chords that we need to learn are D minor, which is very similar to your F chord, but the only difference is we are actually going to add our ring finger here to the C string on the 2nd fret. So the D minor chord will sound like this. And then we're also going to add a G major chord. And the G major chord is played with your middle finger on the 2nd fret on the A string, your index on the C string 2nd fret, and your ring on the 3rd fret on the E string. You want to have a nice tilt to your hand as you play this G chord. And then the last chord of the section, the only new chord here is a G7. And we're going to swap our fingers here, put our index finger on the 1st fret E string, middle on the C string 2nd fret, and ring on the A string 2nd fret, and that will sound like this. So those are the chords. Now the strumming variance that happens is this. Typically we're doing down, down, up, down, up, but for the first part of the chorus here, we're just going to cut that strumming pattern in half. So we're just going to do down, down, up. So that would sound like this. 1, 2, and. So when I say, I guess you would say, you're going to do 1 down, down, up on each one of those chords. And this will obviously be noted below and on the PDF that we have for this, but just remember it's going to be half of your island strum. So instead of counting 1, 2, and 4 and, you're just going to count 1, 2, and. So the chorus section has that for the first part of it, and then for the last line, my girl, we go back to the island strum. So we're just going to pop this for you on the bottom of the screen, and we're just going to kind of play it together here so you can kind of feel this out. I'll go nice and slow through this. So here we go with a nice slow 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, down, up, F, G, again, C, D minor, G, island strum, C, C, to the F, and then G7. Now let's talk a little bit about that last G7 chord of the section. So I like to kind of make that very pronounced when I play it. It's a nice stop because that's where the phrase my girl comes in. And you really want to accentuate that when you're playing it and singing it especially. So when I get to this G7 chord, I'm just going to do a single down strum, and then I'm kind of making that a staccato. So what I do is I strum, and then I release my fingers so that they're still touching the strings, but they're not compressing them. So when I do this, stops that chord completely. So the other component to that is I actually wrap my thumb over the top here to deaden that. The other way you could do this is you could play the chord and rest your pinky over all the strings. If you have a long pinky, that might work for you. but ultimately you just want to get this chord to kind of stop, and the way you do that is by releasing the pressure here of your fretting hand. So that is the chorus section, which is pretty cool. So now we're going to take a look at the interlude section, which is kind of sort of an instrumental section with a few lyrics mixed in here. So the only new chords we need for this section are E minor and A. So our E minor chord we play like this with our ring, middle, and index finger on the second, third, and fourth fret of the bottom 3 strings. And then an A major chord, which is played with our middle finger on the G string 2nd fret, index on the C string of the 1st fret. And that sounds like this. So I'm going to play you guys the interlude here, and then I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So here we go, starting on the C chord, and follow along below. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. The F, 1, back to C, back to the F, D minor, G, E minor, then here comes this A. All right, so there's that little nuance there at the end that I want to talk about. So when we get to the A chord, we're going to do 3 down strums, and if you noticed, it's that kind of staccato thing again. So to get the staccato, I'm playing the chord, and then I'm sealing off the sound and the vibration by resting my index finger on all of the strings. Again, I'm just touching them. So let's just check that out really quick here. So I go down, I stop it, down, stop it again, and then a 3rd time. And then when you do it at full speed, it sounds like this. So that little nuance kind of just brings a little bit more feel to the song, makes it a little bit more true to the sound recording. So let's go now and follow along below and play this one with me as we're gonna go through the interlude section. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5. Going to the F chord, back to the C, back to the F, D minor, G, E minor, and then pretty cool. So that's something I encourage you to slow down as you play. Work on some of these little nuances on their own. If you find yourself kind of struggling with, kind of getting the staccato thing down, pull that out of the equation. Work on it for a little while on its own. Maybe make that part of your daily practice routine the week that you're working on My Girl. So that's the interlude section, and now we're going to talk about going into the next verse, which has a modulation. Now, modulation means that we're going to change the key. This is something they used in Motown. The Beatles use this. A lot of cool artists actually modulated keys, which means they went from the key of C to start the song and ended the song actually in the key of D. Hence the modulation. They lifted the song. There's a reason the song sounded like it had a big lift in it, and that's because they're actually raising the pitch of the entire song. So let's check out this next verse section, which is going to have some new chords for you. All right, so we've modulated to the key of D, which means we're going to use the D major chord. So that's the only new chord for this section. And I play the D chord with my middle, ring, and pinky finger on the top 3 strings here on the 2nd fret. You can also play that with index, middle, and ring. I've also seen some of you play with middle, index, and ring and kind of have this little triangle shape as you do it. I'll leave that up to you. Find what feels most comfortable to you as you do this, and more importantly, what is going to be the easiest for you to switch back and forth between this D chord and the G chord, which is the 2nd chord of the verse. So let's try to play this together. I'm going to play again with the island strum for this section, and we're just going to go back and forth playing D and G one time with the strumming pattern per chord. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, up, G. more time. D and G. All right, let's check out this new chorus section here. Because we've modulated, we have some new chords as well. Well, actually, we just have one new chord, and that's the easy one-finger chord, A7. So we play A7 here with our index finger on the C string of the first fret, and that sounds like this. And that's just going to happen at the end when we do a single down strum staccato. So if you want to work on that before you get into this a little bit more, you can kind of start working on all those staccato chords at once. This is going to follow the same form as the first time we did the chorus. We're just going to use these other chords here to play it. So you can follow along below. We'll play through this chord progression nice and slow. Spend some time with it. If you need to pause, rewind it, do it a few times. Totally cool. Let's just have some fun with this one, starting here on a D chord. And we're again, remember, we're going to do half of the island strum here for these first two lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Back to D, E minor, G, A, and island strum. Going to the G chord, and here comes the stop on A7. So that is the modulated chorus section, and now you've pretty much have all of the components to play this tune. So we're going to do a consolidated play along now so that you can hear each of these sections played together and actually kind of get a feel for it. So I'll be singing along. You can follow along below on the little blue bar. Let's get to it. All right, are you ready for the consolidated play along? Yep, I am too. So to start this off, we're going to play a C chord 2 times through. Now, if you want the full play along, we have that for members at allforyouth.com. If you want to check that out, you can print out the PDF for this song as well, and that will have the intro riff included in it. So for this consolidated one, we're just going to start by strumming the C chord a couple of times, and then we're going to go into the first verse. So follow along on our pretty blue bar below. And let's have some fun with this one. Here we go with a 4 count in. 1, 2, 3, 4. C. One more time, here we go. I got so much honey. The birds, they envy me. I got a sweeter song, baby, than the birds in the trees. Here comes the chorus. I guess you say, what can make me feel this way, my girl? I'm talking about my girl, my girl. Here comes the interlude. C. Just hanging out on the C chord. Time to the F, back to the C, and F, hey, 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 G, E minor, and then we modulate. I don't need no money, fortune or fame. We go to the chorus. I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way, my girl? I'm talking about my girl, my girl. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed learning and playing this along with me today. Again, if you want to check out the full play along, we have that for members at allforyouth.com, as well as a song sheet and tab for this tune. If you don't already, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you click that alert bell so you know when the next video is coming your way. And as always, please leave your comments below. I love hearing from you guys. If you have song suggestions or anything you'd like to see more of on the channel, I love to hear from you guys. I love your feedback. My name's Kevin. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
This sunny day